Hey everybody, welcome to Mission Accomplished. Today we're going to review The Witcher Season 1.
Let's start the show.
Hey everybody, welcome to Mission Accomplished Media. I'm Mike.
And I'm Matt.
And today we're going to do The Witcher Season 1, which turned out to be better than expected, I think.
I agree.
But we had to get through the first couple of timelines, I guess, before it all kind of coalesced.
Yeah.
And they start to know each other.
It's a bit of a slow burn.
Yeah, confusing.
Yeah.
Until you know what the hell's happening. Fortunately, we were able to go into it already knowing that there's a time.
Yeah.
Because it's been out for like 2 or 3 months now. But it's still relevant. People are still checking it out. Maybe not finished it totally, but it still, had an effect on the Witcher 3 video game.
Mm-hmm.
The Witcher 3 video game increased by 530-something%.
Wow.
In sales over the past. So many people are getting, into the world of The Witcher.
Cool.
And yeah, I've been talking for a bit. I'm going to be quiet now so you can do it. Sorry about that.
Yeah, I was a little taken off initially. And some of the things that happened in episode 1, episode 2, I found to be a little brutal. And anyone that might be sensitive, there is a lot of brutality in this throughout. I would definitely say there's fair warning on violence and a decent amount of gore in some senses. Where
Good enough.
If you're anyway sensitive, it may be slightly a bit much.
But if you're the normal desensitized human on the planet, it's fine. It's just fine. It's not too bad. It's not too over the top.
Right.
There's not like it's not like in the books. They're like in the book at one point, like someone gets strangled by their own intestines.
Yeah.
That doesn't happen yet. Fingers crossed.
I mean, they do disembowel a few people.
Yeah.
One.
It's good practical effects.
Yeah. One very, very, front and center.
Yeah, I enjoyed it all. I don't know. I don't mind it. Maybe I grew up watching Braveheart, and I just remember like the old guy getting his hand cut off, and then like all that stuff.
If you go back and watch that, they actually really don't show you that much.
Oh, I know. I know.
But no, this was a good show, and I think that part is just like kind of set dressing. Overall, once it dawns on you that you're not consuming a linear story, it falls into place.
Yeah.
And once that happens...
And then it stops.
Once that happens, the show is much more enjoyable. And then you start thinking about things that you might not have understood. And while I like that, I think the moment where the timelines coalesced was a little late. I understand they're building up the drama and stuff like that, but I think I felt like it could have happened a little earlier. Because you get that, and then the show pretty much is over.
That's the Jin episode, right? That's the first
episode 6, I think.
Yeah, something like that.
Where you really start understanding that it's not linear, and then they really start specifically showing you that what you were experiencing wasn't, straight time.
Yeah.
I mean, there's hints at it earlier, but those hints aren't specific where it couldn't just be like a separate flashback, and I think that's what may have, it has a bit of effect on the storytelling, but overall this is a really good show, and I enjoyed it. I thought Henry Cavill was excellent. The fighting was, the hand-to-hand fighting was magnificent. The special effects are good, practical and CGI. It's a cool magic system that they have in place and they don't really get into it too much, where it's like...
Yeah, you're not really sure exactly what you're working with.
Yeah, they're not quantifying it. It's not midichlorians here. It's just, it's...
There's a give and take.
Yeah.
I agree with what you just said. I definitely think that it's a good show. I think they did a very good job. All the effects were good. CGI was acceptable. Practical effects were really good as far as I'm concerned. If you slow down some of the fights, they're you can tell what's CGI, what's not.
Yeah, yeah. When if you're looking at it frame by frame, you're gonna see behind the curtain there.
And what the one thing I did want to mention is that I wasn't too sure about some of the castings at first because I just kind of didn't get it.
You didn't see them.
I didn't see it compared to the video game.
Who specifically were you thinking?
Okay, so I think we pulled up the whatchamacallit.
Yeah.
So Freya, Alan, I don't really see as Ciri,
Okay.
right? But I mean, I'm used to seeing her in the video game as like a grown woman.
Yeah.
I don't know how old she is though. It doesn't like I'm not able to figure it out as far as the video game.
Well, how old do you think she's supposed to be in this? Like 12, 14?
I don't know. Like I don't know, but
I think
I guess
to me she comes across as like
maybe
preteen, early teen,
I think it's preteen
like
because
11 or 12.
at a certain point in the video game, you do go back to a young Ciri
Okay.
while Geralt is training her,
Okay.
and she's much younger than
than what they show.
what they show on the TV show.
Yeah.
So that's part of why I'm like,
Well, I mean,
she's at a weird age where it's
Yeah.
like she's too old for that
But not-
specific scene, but not old enough to be the Ciri that we
Yeah.
get to play as or no.
Well, when was this shot? Because this young lady is she's pretty young.
I think it was 2018 it was shot, or beginning of 19.
Okay. So she's playing down.
Yeah.
You know.
Also, Anya Chalotra? Okay. But Anya, like, I didn't necessarily see her as Yennefer. And then, let me just get through this.
Mm-hmm.
And then, thank you. And then Triss Marigold. I didn't see her as well. And that's really, like, and I did agree with Dandelion. I thought that was cool. Anna Schafer is Triss. But, like, here's the thing. So,
Okay.
I didn't believe, I was like, oh, like, and only because of my experience and with the video game. I don't care about who they cast necessarily.
Right.
You know what I mean? For any reasons that people might think. It's not it. It's mostly just because this is different than what I've seen. That's all.
Yeah.
That's all.
Right.
And so, but as I'm watching the show, I completely believe all of them. All of them. Every single casting decision in this show, it gets a double thumbs up for me
I agree.
after watching it. I was in doubt, and I was like, I don't know. Just because, they, man, does it make me sound like a jerk because I say just because it looks different than what I already know? But I'm
No.
admitting that I go in knowing that and not necessarily changed my mind,
Mm-hmm.
but accept it, like completely accept all the decisions that they make. And I'm
Yeah.
100% trust that they made the right decisions as far as casting.
I agree. I mean, I don't have any connection to the
Yeah.
video game or the books or whatever else is out there. Particularly, what I wanted to shout out is I really like Jodie May as Calanthe.
Okay.
Is that correct? Am I saying Queen Calanthe?
Sure. Oh, yeah, okay.
I really
The Lioness of Sintra.
yes. She's Queen Calanthe. You see her early in the show. You see her on the battlefield. She's fighting down with the troops. Frontline leadership is always the note of a quality leader. Really like the fact that she wasn't wearing the stereotypical boob armor, which you would almost expect to see in this situation. But they had her in basically what would be actual armor.
Yeah, full breastplate.
She's a strong leader. She's varies from being protective to being overprotective, and
Psycho sometimes.
yeah. So I mean, she's got some flaws, but she seems to at least have the best interests of her family, if not her country, in mind.
Mm-hmm.
I liked you had mentioned it, and I know you talked about how it's like the rage in the internet, but one of the things that kind of took me out of it once you mentioned it is the design of the armor for the Nilfgaardians.
I mean, it's just like...
They look like a phallus,
They look like chodes.
veins included.
Yeah. I mean, it's just like a wrinkly...
you watch the show...
It's a wrinkly dog scrotum or something. It's just... It's just...
Like if you watch the show after hearing that and you hadn't heard it before, like you're just gonna oh
yeah.
okay.
But I mean, the Nilfgaardians are supposed to be dickheads, I guess. So they just kind of
literally are.
They kind of ran with it, I guess. But now that I'm thinking about it, all of the story elements really do play a part, and some of them we don't really realize how important they are. If you've read the books, you'll know.
Yeah.
If you've played the video game, you'll know. So
Okay.
you already, like, there's a bunch of things that have happened that, do I want to say new viewers or new fans of The Witcher won't really have an idea, but we haven't really spoiled anything yet. So
No,
I
I
want to
think
go spoilers.
Yeah, I think we have to-
right now.
Yeah.
Because, okay.
I think, yeah.
So, yeah, thanks for tuning in. If you don't want to hear spoilers,
Yeah.
we appreciate it. Remember to like, subscribe, and all that stuff below. But if you do want to continue with us,
Well, before we start
spoilers.
spoiling, I think we're agreeing that overall this is a mission.
Mission accomplished.
Mission
Yeah,
accomplished. So if you don't want to be spoiled, go watch it. It's a good show. There's some little ticky tack stuff it's not perfect.
Yeah,
but no, I haven't met a show that is. But this is high quality, and it's good to have another good fantasy series out there because they're not off. They're so expensive to make.
Yeah.
That they don't often get made, and so you need to see something like Game of Thrones or Lord of the Rings or like one of those big entities that they know is pretty much a sure shot as long as they don't like completely destroy the source material.
Well,
especially something like it seems like The Witcher, like there's room to play around because of where the lore is and how it's been manipulated by being a game too.
to add to that, from this show, out of this show, and because the sales of The Witcher 3 have increased so much and interest in it has increased that much to an even bigger base. CD Projekt Red, who owns the rights,
Okay.
all the rights
Nice.
to The Witcher, who they bought from the author,
Right.
who sold it to them for pennies.
Oh, of course. That's always what happens.
Have now are now in renegotiations with him
Yeah.
because
As it should be.
they want more stories in the world, and the only person that can write them is him.
Yeah. Well, he's
That really makes it, like really knows what's planned or what's going on, or it's just him. So
Yeah, he's got the world book.
he did
He's
sue them
definitely,
a couple times,
Yeah,
like with
to
the
get more money.
first, and they were like, look, like we didn't know this was going to take off just as much as you didn't think it was.
Well,
you sold it to us fair and square, and
Yeah, I
that's,
agree.
that's fine. It is
it's
what it is.
it's one of those things where it's tough because, like, as somebody that would like to consider himself a writer, you're never going to get full value. But like I think writers.
The positive that came out though is that
Yeah.
he's going to get
more work,
and we're going to get more Witcher.
Right.
But Geralt's story, as far as The Witcher 3 is concerned, is dead. Not dead. I'm sorry, done. He's
Yeah.
not dead.
Okay, so
actually, there's like 4 different endings, so it depends on which one you pick, I guess, and which one you picked, or
Yeah.
So yeah, there's like 4 or 5 different endings from what I understand. So whatever ending you got is the I don't know what the canon ending is going to be, what they'll say in the next book of whoever they talk about.
Well, when this guy writes these, I apologize for not knowing the
That's
author's
fine.
name.
Don't worry about it.
But when the author writes more books, are they going to buy those books, or is he basically writing for hire at this point?
He's writing
Bringing
for I think they're
bringing
bringing him in.
Okay.
That's what I think is happening. He's supposedly notoriously hard to work with, though, so we'll see who knows.
The writers spend a lot of time alone.
Yeah, yeah, I hear you.
So I think what happens is you form your own personality because you're like, nope, it's mine. It's my world. My baby. You know?
I can hear that and agree with that.
And I mean, personally, I do think that when writers go to sell their work, they should probably look into some type of stipulation that, performance stipulation where, at a certain number, their percentage or their payout increases. Because, there's stories of hundreds of thousands of writers getting, their rights bought for nothing, and then it creates,
Something that's really awesome.
Yeah, I mean, look at Stan Lee and Jack Kirby, and Bill Finger, part of the Batman creative team, and there's stories across media of writers and artists getting completely dicked over for something that's created millions and millions of billions, if not possible, of dollars of profit for corporations that own all of our media.
Yeah. Going back to the show, though, I think that no. It makes sense. I think The Witcher is going to make $1 billion this year.
Yeah.
In some fashion, the franchise in some way, shape, or form. I don't care if it's Netflix, video games, whatever. I do. I liked how they brought the magic in. I thought it was nice. I thought they explained it pretty well. They explain magic better in the TV show than they do in the video games, at least in my opinion.
Again, I think when you explain magic, you have to be very careful that you don't start quantifying it
And giving too much away.
Yeah, because then you turn it into some type of pseudoscience.
Yeah.
And it's not supposed to be science. It's supposed to be like a little outside of your understanding. And
although it is kind of a science in the world, because they do use like contraptions that help them focus their magic.
Right.
So, at that point you are kind of you're getting into it, but they're not giving you enough to where you're like losing the sense of fascination or you're still able to turn your mind off.
There's a mystery.
It's not so ridiculous that you can't turn your brain off a little bit.
Right.
And suspend your disbelief.
Yeah, belief in the world is crucial to a fantasy setting.
What did you think of outfits, production value, like sets? A lot of sets. A lot
of sets.
It's outside a lot, but the world still seems lived in. It's not like just a freaking forest that there's nothing.
Well,
looking at you, end of the season, Altered Carbon, season 2.
Oh God. Please don't bring that up.
Sorry. Okay. But even when they're outside in The Witcher, you still got stuff in the background that's like going on where it's like world building.
Yeah. I mean, there's the one thing I noticed about The Witcher, which and unfortunately, there's not a lot of fantasy series to compare it with. Pretty much all you have to compare it with is Game of Thrones. I mean, you can compare it stylistically to something like Lord of the Rings, but Lord of the Rings was a movie, and that was created more than 10 years ago at this point, I
think the only thing I would really feel comfortable relating it to, and this is going to be out from left field, and I'm probably wrong, is Dungeons and Dragons. And stuff like that.
It has a very, like I said it to you when we were watching through the second time, that I feel like at certain points, like you really do feel like it's a game. There's a point where he touches a door and it glows, and it's like, checkpoint.
Yeah.
Right? There's a few times where he uses a potion, and you wish like the power level bar bumped up a little bit, or but I liked how they lean into the tropes, and they're not afraid to be like, we're leaning in.
The one trope I didn't like was the Doppler. I didn't like him. I didn't like that.
Yeah, it was a little
too mustache twirly. For my taste.
Yeah, it was one of those things where it's like, wow, he's really fair looking, so he's going to be very foul. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and he was. Yeah. But like he got his comeuppance pretty quick. I like that he didn't linger on him, and he wasn't pretty at the end.
Yeah.
They show him as he kind of looked. He reminded me very much, power set and looks, as like the '90s Spider-Man animated Chameleon.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It's a little bit more organic, but you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like gray.
Pale white skin.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. Yeah, gray skin or whatever you want to call it.
Just something that popped in my head.
I remember Chameleon. I remember that.
Yeah.
Was it the Clone Saga? I feel like Chameleon had a lot to do with the Clone Saga on the TV show. I just remember Scarlet Spider and Chameleon being together for some reason. Whatever.
We'll have to go back and watch that show at some point. That was a good one. I'm gonna have to put that in my notes.
The one thing that I did have not a problem with, but I wish there was more monsters. I know that there was a good bit.
Yeah.
We got the Kikimori at the beginning. We got the Fawn the next episode. The what? The Striga.
Yeah, Striga.
What else?
That thing that they beat up in the woods for no reason. At the end,
that thing. He's like, we would have fed it and it would have gone away.
Yeah.
The dragon.
Dragon was cool.
And is that it? Am I forgetting something?
The zombie things.
Oh yes, the ghouls. The ghouls. Okay. Yeah, I could have. I hope in season 2 we really get the fight. Because I'm thinking of video game. Because in the second one, in this, like, you got to fight this big, like, tentacle thingy that was like almost like a Cthulhu type thing. It was
like
just a big
Kraken?
squid, but it was a swamp. It was like a
Okay.
swamp squid or something. But yeah, like
Swamp
a Kraken.
squid.
I don't know. It was cool. It was just and there's like rot fiends and stuff that are like mega ghouls.
Okay.
Like there's a lot more. There's a lot more, and I hope.
The whole D&D booklets in there, right?
Yeah, I really pretty much, and I really hope that in season 2, looking forward, I hope that he's bringing Ciri on these hunts
Yeah.
because she's got the power, she can defend herself, whatever, and I hope that he's training her.
Yeah, I think. Well, first of all, the first thing I hope for season 2 is that it's much more linear.
Oh, they already said that.
If not,
They already said season 2 is like
Yeah.
season 1 was just to like pique your interest or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
Okay, bud.
it was a little much, and I think if you're not a fan of like fantasy, or if you're not a fan of The Witcher, that might take you out of the show.
Yeah.
Which is unfortunate because overall it's a really good season of a good show. The fantasy world that they're in is very standard fantasy, Tolkien inspired, Dungeons and Dragons inspired. They're not knocking down any doors, experimenting with creatures or tropes that you don't see in fantasy all the time. They do a little twisting of some tropes, like the prophecy stuff when The Witcher will just kind of call BS on certain things, but then obviously they lean into it because that's pretty much how
comes back around,
how
yeah.
the show ends.
Yeah.
And it really does show you kind of how like a prophecy or like a premonition would work. It's almost kind of like you can't avoid it.
You can't. Yeah.
No
matter what happens.
Even though you're making decisions you feel are like your free will, this destiny is going to guide you back into that cycle. And I mean, they play with that really well because there's certain times where characters that are destined to share this world together like slide right by each other. Like there's a scene where Calanthe is being attacked, right? Is it Calanthe or
Sintra?
Sintra. Sorry, it's Queen Calanthe of Sintra. And later, you see this attack from a couple different viewpoints. You see it early on from the Sintra viewpoint and Ciri's viewpoint, right? And then later in the show, they show you that the Witcher was there. And
The whole time. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're literally walking in two separate directions.
And so early on, you see Ciri playing Knuckles in the town square, and she looks over, and you think she's looking over because she hears horses coming, like because you see the tower guard come out. But actually, what you see on this other viewpoint is that the Witcher was there, where she was looking, and what had been happening is he was getting set up to get a fake Ciri, like one of her handmaidens or one of her friends. I guess they dropped a sack of money on her parents and like, yeah, we're just gonna give her to the Witcher.
There's a lot that happens in season 1 that's gonna take a part and play a big role in season 2 that most people don't even realize.
One thing I would have liked, I didn't like that the mages were so infighty. I thought it was a bit drummed up, but then a lot of them go and fight anyway. I wanted to see more magic in action when they were all assembled to defend Sintra or Sodden. At the end when they're defending Sodden, there's a whole slew of them. Yeah, so you get to see Volgafort do his sword stuff, his martial arts fighting. Yeah. You see him using his chaos magic to keep making swords. You see, you get Yennefer's communicating via telepathy. You see Triss use her, I guess some type of earth-based powers. She makes mushrooms grow. So I guess plant powers. She makes mushrooms grow.
It's elemental. It's nature.
The mushrooms are poisonous. It kills a bunch of the dickhead soldiers. Nilfgaard, right?
Yeah.
And then you see her close up the gate with a bunch of vines. She gets burned at a point right there. It's cool, but I would have liked to have seen a little more. On the evil side, that was really cool. You see them forming these like power balls,
Like
right?
sacrificing themselves,
They,
yeah.
they sacrifice all the power and their bodies disintegrate as they load their like spirit as a flaming ball into like a catapult.
Yeah, it's a little. The Nilfgaard mages are a little much. It doesn't make sense to me because I'm
It
like, why
doesn't.
would you want to? Okay,
Yeah.
whatever.
It seems like brainwashing
A little bit, like there's
Yeah,
a
it
little bit
seems-
of that
yeah.
going on.
because
Uh,
they're like white light.
Mhm.
You know,
Well, the White Flame is,
White Flame.
that's the Emperor. That's another name for the Emperor. It's not like a religion thing, or maybe it is.
It seems
we don't
more
know
like
yet.
a cultish brainwashing
Yeah.
type thing. Like, you know,
So what'd you think of Dandelion? Because Dandelion, for me, I liked his character.
which one?
What they didn't, that's the bard.
Oh yeah.
Sorry.
Yasker.
Yaskier. Sorry, his name is Dandelion in the video game. In all
Yaskier.
of them. His name is Yaskier, but it's
Yeah.
it's Dandelion as well.
I can understand why they didn't call him Dandelion.
Well, he swings both ways. They also don't like. Throw
Well, he
that
is a
out in the show.
dandy. I mean,
Yeah.
he's a fop. Really. You
What's
know?
that?
Like a fop would be somebody that's like a dandy, but also kind of spineless.
Oh.
You know.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Like very interested in trappings and you know
Mm-hmm.
baubles,
Keeping
and
up with the Joneses.
that kind of behavior, but then like run at the first sign of danger.
Yeah.
You know. And he doesn't really run at the first sign of danger.
He just runs behind.
stands back.
He just stands behind the Witcher.
Yeah.
He takes a step back behind the Witcher.
Yeah,
is
he
what
just
does.
starts taking notes,
Yeah.
basically. He's just
I did like. See, that's the thing. I did like when he was like, "I saw him get eaten."
Yeah.
Blah 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 blah. Blah. And he's like,
Yeah.
"Did you see the body?" And he's
Yeah.
like, "No." He's like, "Did you see the body?"
Yeah.
No, but I know what I saw. Well,
Yeah,
he's
he's
like,
dead.
He's fine. He's fine.
What
And he
was
he goes walking in covered in shit.
And they're like,
he
"Oh, what is that
stinks."
stench?"
And he's like, I had to cut myself out from the inside.
Yeah, that's how you
And
kill
Yaskier's
him.
like, told you. I did like that. What I didn't like is the fact that they do not give you a good idea of how long Yaskier and the Witcher are actually together.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like a decade.
Okay.
It's like 15 years. And they don't age Yaskier
Nah,
at all in the show.
Well, I think
So, but the thing is the Witcher doesn't age as fast as normal men, and Yennefer will never age as long as she's a mage.
yeah.
So that's I get it. You still should have given him like a little bit of, crow's
salt and
little
pepper in
something,
there.
little something, right?
Maybe-
Little salt and pepper, little
Yeah.
around
Maybe,
the edges,
maybe some prosthetics.
a
make
little
it-
gray in the
Yeah.
beard, little gray in the beard. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And that's a nitpick. It's but I do know that
I
it
could
takes,
also see the Bard or Yasker being somebody that would hide all that stuff. Like he would be the one, like
Yeah.
rubbing charcoal into his hair to cover
yeah.
the gray. You
Yeah.
know, like. By the
it's-
way, the song, the Witcher song, like I don't know what they're calling.
Oh, it's Toss of Coin to the Witcher.
Yeah, fantastic song. You know, I still have it playing in my head. I don't know if I'll ever get rid of it at this point.
I said to you, I'm like, welcome to everybody like 2 months ago.
Yeah, yeah.
I said it was like memes everywhere. Thank God they're done.
But I had to. The actor that plays Yasker is Joey Bately or Batty, I guess.
Good job, Joe.
Yeah, good job. I actually thought he had a fantastic voice.
Yeah.
It's just the one sorcerer or good witch, whatever we're calling them, mage. We see her like
the redhead.
the redhead. What was her name?
It's not Fiona, is it?
So at one point you see one of the mages. Unfortunately, I forget her name. I'm having a hard time figuring out who she was.
Is it the same one that you're talking? Is it the same mage that goes like?
Yeah, she crushes.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay. So that mage, and then her nosebleed. So that.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
And
what we're talking about.
Yeah. So that's what I was talking about. That scene, like where
Okay.
she's got like a unit of men coming at her, and she just stands there and does like the Jedi,
Yeah,
or
throat
the
crunch.
Sith,
Yeah.
the throat crush, and they all just like collapse. That was pretty cool. Yeah. I mean, I can't. Honestly, we could sit here and talk about like scene after scene where cool little things happen.
Mm-hmm.
I think what I'm just getting down to is this is a really, really good show.
Yeah,
And
it's good.
like-
It's good enough for the first season.
Yeah.
I'm expecting a lot more season 2. I swear to Christ, if they cut the budget for season 2, I'm gonna stop watching television. Seriously.
Yeah, well, I mean, hopefully it won't take 2 years to get it out.
No, they're already
Yeah,
filming.
I know.
They're already filming season 2 right now, so they said it's probably going to be released around the same time as season 1.
Yeah. So we're looking at
yeah.
it like a year from now.
Yeah,
roughly?
yeah. About I mean, they've been filming for like 3 weeks now, I think.
Okay.
So it's been a couple weeks now. I think maybe even a month. But yeah, so same.
So beginning of next year again.
Yeah,
roughly.
pretty much. Yeah,
End
like
of this year.
around Christmas time, if not
Yeah.
a little after.
Yeah.
But yeah. So here we go. Mission accomplished.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Boom.
Yeah. Watch this show. It's good.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and let us know what your comments are. What did you like? What if you didn't like something? Let us know.
Yeah. If you play the video game, if you think we should review the video game, because I have Witcher 3 and 2 and 1, but don't make me play 1 again. Come on. What a slog to get through that. Just it's so difficult. The game mechanics
Yeah,
are
it's
so
just
dated.
old.
Yeah. I guess that's it though for this episode of
Yeah.
Mission Accomplished Media.
Yeah.
So thanks for tuning in. I'm Mike.
I'm Matt.
Remember to like, subscribe, comment below, all that good stuff. Thanks for tuning in again though. Bye.
See ya.